that this is a place where they should be. And I was thinking about this, so I decided to catch up with some old friends. I grew up on the east side of Detroit, and if you know the city, I call my neighborhood, my old neighborhood, not quite East English Village. Like, we were near it, but it really was not East English Village. And I have a very diverse neighborhood, a lot of blue-collar families, middle-class families, and so I tried to catch up with some old friends. First is my friend Lindsay. She grew up across the street from me. She's 28. She just moved to Austin, Texas. She went to Wayne for undergrad. She was a special ed teacher. Certainly Detroit could use more special ed teachers, but and I'd like to say also, all these people wanted everyone to know that they suffer expat guilt, and they love Detroit. And so that's another reason I wanted to talk to them, because I knew they weren't going to just trash the city. They do love Detroit. So Lindsay, I asked her I wanted to know from them, what did you see in your city now that you didn't see in Detroit? And it's a lot of the stuff we've heard. I mean, nothing here is really surprising. She said, now that I'm in Austin, I love how easily walkable it is in a large area, not just a strip there or here or there. She praises their public transportation, the public parks, the festivals, South by Southwest, Austin city limits, the cleanliness. She's a teacher, and she says, I definitely had more faith in the Austin school district than in Detroit. Next is Jelani Johnson. He's 30. My sister will kill me if she knows I said this, but she dated him in grade school. But I called Jelani because I wanted to know. He lives in Atlanta now, and he does film and TV, which certainly one could do here. It's booming here. His mom would love it probably if he moved back here. But I asked Jelani, what do you like about Atlanta? What do you see? What do you see in Atlanta you didn't see in Detroit? Again, clean, safe, family-friendly parks. He's single, by the way. He doesn't have kids, but he said clean, safe, family-friendly parks. He likes the high-profile events and concerts, mass transit. He said, I can go basically anywhere I need to go in Atlanta because of the train system. He said Atlanta has an entrepreneurial spirit, whereas in Detroit, people seem just happy to go to work. Atlanta is full of work, live, play communities that make it convenient for people to do everything they need in one centralized area. I feel like I'm at the Oscars and running out of time. And finally is Eric. Eric is 36. He lives in Seattle. He's got a young daughter, as you can see, his baby Isa. Eric is the one who gave me the term expat guild, which I love. And I know he loves Detroit because his fantasy baseball league is always called the Detroit Lighters. Eric loves about Seattle, the moderate seasons, living in proximity to majestic mountains and the ocean, the laid-back West Coast lifestyle. And he said one of the biggest reasons is job opportunities. He's a freelance graphic designer, and he feels like there's just more opportunity there in Seattle. So what does this mean for Detroit? Well, we can't change the weather, and a lot of people said weather, but we can't change that. But really, I don't know if weather is such a big factor. If we look at Minneapolis, Chicago, a lot of other places people want to live, and I gotta say, Seattle seems awful gray and rainy to me. I'd take a Detroit summer over there any day. But so what does this mean for Detroit? Oh, that's my next slide. I won't jump ahead. Really, what do we need that these cities have? I think, if you listen to what they say, clean and safe. I mean, that, you can't deny that. We heard a lot this morning about removing blight, and blight really is not good for anyone. It's not good for the people living around it, and it's not good for the people who live away from it. If you live in Shelby Township or Canton or wherever, and why should you care about blight? Because if you drive into the city from any vantage point, you don't see clean and safe. Even if the Downtown Detroit Partnership does an awesome job, they have crews out there working 7 days a week picking up trash in the central business district, 400 tons last year. I mean, Detroit downtown looks clean and safe, but to drive in from any vantage point, you do not get that impression. And why should you care about that? Who would invite people over to their house and say, ignore the living room, it looks like crap right now, but the back corner of my backyard looks really awesome. You should go hang out there. I mean, if someone was selling you a house that way, you wouldn't buy it. We need walkability, we need density. Those words are huge. We need to have, that picture of Midtown we saw, we need that times 10. We are a city without a Starbucks, and I would say I don't care personally. We do have a Starbucks actually on campus. but we don't have a plethora of Starbucks. But I don't go to Chicago to eat at Taco Bell. I go to Chicago to go to Rick Bayless's Frontier Grill. What we need is more the Detroit stuff. We need to support our local businesses. We need to support entrepreneurs. We need to build a city where we have green spaces. We need to support and be advocates for those green spaces. Belle Isle is probably the best park around. I don't know if you can get any better than that. We have awesome metro parks. So a lot of what these people wanted, we have. And I think the biggest one thing we need to do is do more everything again, and to show people we need to be better ambassadors for this region. One of the things we do in Model D is we try to do that. We try to use social media, Twitter, Facebook pages to show a picture of Detroit that will surprise people. And I think those stories do resonate. Right now, between Model D and Metro Mode, we send out our e-zines each week to 150,000 emails. Our websites bring in over 100,000 unique visitors each month, and that's up 120% over last year. I think almost more importantly, there are 900 sites referring people back to Model D and Metro Mode, and our content is reused and syndicated on 40 sites statewide. So the stories we write have an impact beyond just our initial websites. And this is my who you calling boring, because one of the things that my friends are talking about is cool things to do, and I'm going to just quickly paraphrase a Wayne State law student who organized this march of the Name Rouge March last weekend, which was the most fun thing I've done in Detroit in a long time. I mean, we always talk about what Detroit used to be cool. Oh, it was really cool back then. And then we talk about how if we do all the stuff, Detroit's going to be really cool. But I think we often lose sight that Detroit is a great place right now, and we have a lot to offer. Finally, quickly, not everybody leaves. And in Model D, another thing we love are stories about people who have stayed, who have moved here from other places, who've chosen Detroit, who've come back. So I'm going to give you a couple quick stories. Roland, he's 28, lives in Southwest Detroit, works for the ACLU. He says, one thing I love about the city so much is that it's a good place to make your mark. You have unlimited potential for innovation here, and I believe that too. Pfeiffer Carter is a fashion photographer. She's become a huge promoter of the local women's hip-hop scene. She moved back to Detroit for family, but she stayed. She was in Brooklyn, she was in New York, she was, living a lifestyle there that you think you can only do that there, and she's been able to do that here. Louise, who's the director of the MoCAD, he is from Latin America and moved to Detroit from New York City, and he's the kind of guy who could be anywhere, and he chose Detroit. And he said, the city seems very available in a strange way. It can be yours. You can make Detroit yours that easily. We have low barrier to entry here. You can come in and do your thing in Detroit, and it's such, the city needs to even lower that barrier to entry and support people who want to do creative things, like start a museum. And I think that's about it. I just like to say that, I really do believe this matters, and it should matter just personally, economically, and we need to think about it regionally.